What's up, co-reporters? Welcome back to my channel. Listen, I am back for another Sister Wives recap at last. Okay, so let's get into what the most recent one that happened this week. So Christine seems to really be ready to come for Mery this entire episode. Like, there were many times that she would be talking about Cody, but then she would make like kind of like snide remarks about Mery in the midst of all of it. So it really felt like Mery caught a lot of strays. And again, it's very reminiscent of Toby from The Office and the way that he would constantly be catching strays in people's beefs with one another. Okay. So at the top of the episode, she is at Janelle's place and she asked Janelle to move into the townhouse next to her place because she just wants her to be around. And that place is now going up for sale and whatnot. Sorry, for rent. But unfortunately, Janelle is not able to move into the townhouse because her daughter is still finishing up school. And so she just wants for that to be done with before she is able to move and become Christine's neighbor, which is something that she actually really wants for herself. And I think it would be really cute if possible. Then we find out some more stuff about Cody. Listen, this guy never ceases to amaze me. So we've known this entire season that he's been beefing with his sons because, according to Cody, they broke COVID protocols that he had in place, and that led to him and Robin catching COVID, and that's why he's really upset. And so he's been punishing these kids by just like refusing to speak to them, and it feels horrible, right? Like I'm stunned that this is like his method. But then we find out that for whatever reason he also hasn't been speaking to his daughter Savannah. In fact, Savannah herself, which is Janelle's daughter, says that Cody hasn't spoken to her in about a month and a half. He didn't even wish her a Merry Christmas. And what is his excuse for that, right? Like, when it comes to the sons, he's upset with them because of the COVID thing. But when it comes to the daughter, what is the issue, Cody? What did Savannah do to you that would make you not even wish her a Merry Christmas as your daughter? Rough. So Christine at this point, like listening to all of this going on as like the first wife to break out of the cult, is like really upset. She says that she's like literally angry, shaking with anger that this is going on, and that the other women, especially Janelle, her friend, are staying in this town for someone who isn't even involved with his kids. Like, it seems like Janelle's excuse is that the daughter isn't done school, but Christine is suspecting that it's more so she's not 100% done with Cody, and she doesn't understand why when Cody isn't even present for these kids, which I understand what Christine's saying, but at the same time, it does sound like Savannah is nearly done with school. So even if Cody's kind of like in his deadbeat vibe, it's best for the daughter to just finish school before Janelle can go ahead and move. You know, it seems like a lot to ask for her to move that far and just restart everything like at this stage in her like academic career. So now when it comes to Cody, remember how I asked, what is Cody's excuse here, right? Like, what is it? So he is blaming his deadbeatness on the wives again, and he pulls the phone goes both ways thing again. And it's like, Cody, we understand that the phone goes both ways, but why doesn't that apply to you? Why isn't it working in your direction towards the kids? Like, you are the adult, you are the parent. It is up to you to reach out to these kids. I really don't like when he says that. It feels very dismissive of their feelings and whatnot. And toxic. I almost said borderline toxic, but it's actually outright toxic. He also says that it's like Christine's fault and it's Janelle's fault for kicking him out of their homes. But Cody, it's almost as if you have your own home that you can invite these children to, right? Can you still call these children? Yes, absolutely. You can write them, you can email them, you could do a lot of things to get in contact with them, but you are simply choosing not to and placing the blame on the moms. And that is just not cool at all. So obviously, because he doesn't even see these kids doesn't even wish these kids a Merry Christmas via text, a call, nothing. He didn't get them any Christmas gifts. And that really is sad. And Christine chewed him out for it. She was like, you're supposed to step up and be a father to these kids. Like, there's literally no excuse for what it is that you're doing. And I just love the rant that she went on because it is true. Like, this guy, he decided he wanted to have 4 wives and like a million kids, but at the end of the day, he doesn't know how to have like, 4 wives at the same time, apparently, or how to raise all of these kids, because it really is wild to me that like someone who has so many kids already, like a good portion of them don't speak to him. Like that says a lot about him, and the fact that he's not even bothered about it and he's not willing to take any responsibility. Instead, he's blaming it on the moms and he's blaming it on the kids themselves. Like that really is like, it's got to stop. And I'm happy that Christine is calling it out, because the other girls seem a little bit too clueless or maybe too soft to really tell it like it is. And because Christine is now out of like his grasp, she can really like speak candidly about what is going on here. And her kids are grown and they say they don't need him anymore. So she doesn't like worry about rocking the boat in that respect. Now we get to a point where Robin goes over to Mery's house, you guys, okay? Again, Mery has a really beautiful house, and they're just talking about how the family is kind of falling apart a little bit, with all the girls going in their own separate directions and whatnot. And then Mery shares a story, and it seems like she was sharing the story as a dig at Christine for feeling so like left out of like the plural marriage with Robin being around and everything. So Mary's like, you know what? I was once in Christine's position, and she seemed just fine with it. When there was a Christmas where Cody got Christine a whole bunch of gifts, but literally nothing for me. And then we pan over to Cody getting his own talking head about the situation. And I'm pretty sure he was lying, because he claims that he doesn't remember this happening, but then he smirks as if like it's an FU kind of a smirk. Like, you know what I mean? So I didn't love that, to be honest with you. And then we cut over to Christine, and Christine says that Cody's excuse for this happening was um, that she had bought Mery a gift. He was like, "Well, Christine, you said you bought Mery a gift card. Like, I don't need to get her anything. Like, what?" And then Christine was shocked by it. She said that she told Cody, "Cody, that's your wife. Of course you have to get her something. Like, I'm just a sister wife getting her something small, but this is another one of your wives. Why would you not get her anything?" So everybody remembers this, but Cody is pretending that it didn't happen, basically, right? Lord. And then I gotta be honest with you guys, I did feel like this episode kind of dragged on and felt very repetitive, because afterwards we kind of get into all the like girls reminiscing and whatnot about how they would log their weekly time with Cody and whatnot, or their monthly time with him, and how he would claim that he was spending an equal amount of time with all of them, but it wasn't true. Robin says sometimes he was spending more time with Christine, or this Janelle, or whatever. Christine says it was mostly him spending a lot of time with Robin, but they all do agree that there was a month where he spent almost exclusively with Christine and whatnot. Um, but it's just sad at the end of the day. I still can't believe that these women agreed to this sort of a lifestyle. And then Christine gets into something with Robin. I don't remember exactly why this was brought up, but apparently Robin never like tried or asked to be friends or anything like that, and that kind of pissed Christine off. It felt like Robin was not really in it to be a sister wife, but she kind of was wanted to push everyone out and become the only wife. And so Christine is like, I don't understand why Robin never even tried to form a friendship or ask for my friendship, but it doesn't matter because I would have rejected her friendship anyway because she's untrustworthy. And I was like, damn, girl, she really was out for blood this episode. And I've got to admit, I loved it. Now, remember, at the top of this recap, I said that Mery caught a lot of strays, okay? Like from Christine this episode. Like, for example, she was talking about how Cody has been guilting Janelle into thinking that like the dissolution of like their relationship is her fault because she's not being a good sister wife to Robin. So Christina's like, oh, come on, that is a bunch of BS, because you know who's really nice and warm and welcoming towards Robin? Mery. And Cody couldn't give less of an F about Mery. He's not nice to her. He's not, nothing to her. So for him to claim that if Janelle did that thing, he would be like, more present and a better, like, husband to her. Like, come on now. And I gagged. And I think even Janelle said something about how Cody doesn't care about Robin. I'm like, oh my God. I mean about Mery. Someone please check on that poor woman. It's like bad enough that she has to deal with being the third wheel to Cody and Mery and Robin, But all this stuff too, oh Lord. And speaking of Robin, at a certain point, she starts crying again about like feeling like the family's like breaking up and her kids are not getting the sister wife experience and whatnot. But she starts like crying like really hard, but there's no tears coming out. And I find that to be a really creepy thing. I know that um, a lot of women seem to do this on the shows that I recap. I don't know what this is a symptom of, but I find it to be really like fake and manipulative. I know that Amber Portwood from Teen Mama is like that as well. Like they just cry so much, but nothing comes out. And you're like, is this a performance? I don't know if this is genuine or not. Okay. Um, then we find out also that another sister wife is about to be kind of leaving the compound. Cody and Robin are not yet aware of it, okay? But it's Mery, aka Toby. She decides to move her clothing business to southern Utah to be closer to the B&B, aka bed and breakfast, that her mother had left to her to run and everything. And so she's like, it just makes more sense for me to be closer to that. But she's nervous that Robin is going to guilt trip her out of leaving. According to Mery, Robin like has been crying to her like, please don't leave and all that like for a long time since the other girls started like taking their distance. So she is nervous about like how she's going to feel about the news of her like moving a little bit further away. She's like, I'm not leaving the like sister wife situation, but I just want to be closer to my business. Listen, you guys, to me, this makes the most sense for Mery because Mery, we already know that she is the third wheel when it comes to Robin and Cody. There's really no point of her even being around in that place. So I hate the fact that Robin and perhaps even Cody are going to guilt trip the hell out of her to stay just to do what over there? You know what I mean? Like have no part in this like arrangement, relationship situation, just to do, just to waste her time basically. And I really, really don't like that. And I see like hints of Mery starting to kind of wake up and want better for herself when she's like, driving and she's like, why would I even stay? Like they don't even like me. Like, why would I stay? And I hope that she actually carries that forward with her and like pushes through and makes the ultimate move. At this point, it's up to her to make decisions for herself. Her child is grown and everything, so there's like no reason for her to keep putting herself through this at this point. Okay, perhaps it's like a thing religiously where she feels like she can't just like up and leave, but I hope like at least for yourself, for the sake of your sanity and your dignity, you get up and go. It's just a lot. And so like I said earlier, Janelle started talking a little bit about the way that Cody treats Mery and everything. Like it's not as shady as the way Christine had been this episode, but she did say that like Cody just drinks Mery along basically, and it's really sad to witness in real life and everything. And yeah, I can't help but feel bad for her, but at the same time, like you've got to help yourself at a certain point. Mery is well aware of the situation, and Mery is a grown-ass woman. So if this situation is not suitable to her, she needs to do what's right, which is to get her keys, get her MLM clothes, and move on. And I hope she does, right? As the season progresses, I'm excited to watch how that ultimately winds up panning out for her. Obviously, spoiler alert, she does ultimately, but I'm excited to see like the decision, the final, and how she breaks the news to them and everything. Anyway, you guys, that does it. A recap of what went down on this week's episode of Sister Wives. As usual, I'm more excited to hear what you have to say about everything. So please make sure to leave all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.